Hello, and welcome to A Slice of Pie, the semi-weekly Newsish show that we do on this channel. How is everybody doing today? We're actually doing pretty good, all things considered. We actually have a lot of content coming in the next few weeks. That being said, we did upgrade our gear recently. We added new lights, a new microphone. So let me know what you guys think about this. All I know is I can't stare directly into the center of these lights or I might go blind. I already see the black dots. This isn't good. Okay, so enough of that. Let's actually talk about the tech and gaming news. AMD is finally releasing high-end APUs. On the Intel side, you've been able to buy an i7 with an iGPU for as long as I can remember. In fact, they only recently started selling CPUs without GPUs. Now, AMD is going to be selling them. In fact, we actually have a leaked image of a Ryzen 7 APU, which it's pretty concrete that this thing exists since we are literally looking at it. Honestly, I'm happy about this. It's a 8-core, 16-thread APU with actual APU cores separate. So it's exactly what I would want out of a Ryzen APU if I ever bought one, because technically speaking, APUs do make it a little bit easier to diagnose problems. And for those who are less experienced, it makes a really good platform to build off of. So all in all, this is generally really good news. We have no word on when it will launch or if it will even be supported by the B550 motherboards, which do not support the current APUs. It's possible that that's the compromise that they're making there, but why you would put that in a B550 instead of a Ryzen 3 APU, I don't know. So it's kind of confusing in that regard. Alienware, a company that most of us enthusiasts tend not to really talk about, actually has something pretty interesting going on. In fact, in their newest desktop lineup, they have water-cooled GPUs. Now, they're not water-cooled the same way that you would think. They're not water-cooled through a rad that they connect to via the front or top of the case, but instead, there is a blower-style radiator that is located 2 slots below it in the other PCIe slot. This is actually kind of awesome. And to be completely honest, I kind of want to see this work its way into custom builds. This actually allows you to create a very compact GPU loop, and it's brilliant, honestly. So it just looks cool, and for once, Alienware is doing what they used to do and innovating a little bit. Your next processor might have come from the United States. TSMC, the company that makes chips for Apple, Qualcomm, AMD, and Nvidia, is looking to open a US plant. This is kind of interesting because essentially there's just so much automation in chip manufacturing that it doesn't make much of a difference where they're located. That being said, assembly still generally happens in China, Taiwan, Taipei, etc. But this could actually help incentivize other companies to come to the United States. I do wonder if this has something to do with tariffs or if it might actually just be cheaper to get a hold of the technicians that are necessary to actually design and improve these plants. Speaking of Nvidia though, Nvidia has finally shown off Amphair in a very interesting way, a multi-part YouTube series that they released all at once, with the intro being written, composed, and narrated by AI, which is actually rather fascinating. That being said, the actual content of it focused mainly around hardware for data centers and compute applications, which is why AI was so prevalent. That being said, what they've got there is actually pretty interesting. In fact, I was quite surprised with how well these new GPUs actually work. Or, well, they're really more like processing units, to be completely honest. And even crazier is they're cheaper than their existing one. And they ditched Intel to put AMD into their servers. So essentially you buy this thing for, I think it's $1,000, and it will be better than the one that's $10,000 that they're currently offering. So they not only lowered prices on the data center end, but they also switched to AMD, which is actually rather interesting. So in a way, AMD and Nvidia have finally teamed up. Intel's 10th gen is a bit confusing when it comes to pricing. You see, last week or 2 weeks ago, we reported that Intel's 10th gen actually looks like it's going to be priced competitively to AMD. But that pricing was actually per 1,000 units, which is a tray of processors. So if, say, Newegg bought them, they would be priced at that price, meaning they're still more expensive than the AMD processors by a pretty significant markup if the MSRP is to be believed. But this is the weird part. Newegg actually has them listed at that price currently for pre-order, but B&H actually has them marked up by about 50 bucks, which is where I'm guessing their profit is. So the pricing of Intel's 10th gen is actually a bit confusing. In fact, it's not very direct at all. And we currently don't actually know how much these parts are really going to end up costing. Are they going to cost what Newegg's got them or B&H? And Newegg usually doesn't undercut by that much, so very weird. I found this case a couple different times in a couple different articles, and I thought, this is the weirdest case I have ever seen. The OMG on the front, the red accents, it's like, it doesn't make much sense, but it's kind of amazing at the same time. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because I thought, man, this thing is weird. Supernova's next upgrades, which will probably be in 3 to 4 years, are gonna be interesting because EK finally released the O11 Dynamic XL distro plate for the front. Yes, a spot on the case that currently does not support a distro plate, radiators, or anything will now support a distro plate. This could completely change the way that I do this PC because now I can put a 480 into it, and that would be so much cooling. I don't even know if I need that, to be completely honest. Right now it's on two 360s and it's great. But what could I do if I did the VRM cooling and everything through like a 480 and two 360s? Oh, that could be interesting. So essentially, there's a lot that's going to go into Nova V2 that I already know I'm going to be doing. Like, I think I'm going to change out the Vardar fans. I think I'm going to switch to EK Torx. And I think I might even get that distro plate for the front. And it could be fairly exciting. So that's not a project that I'm going to be tackling in the next few years, mainly because it's kind of expensive and I don't need that to be my priority, as this PC right here is currently in the works and I still don't have a name because none of you guys actually suggested one yet. So if you have a suggestion, we're going with a kind of celestial body theme here because we got Supernova. What should this PC be called? It's being built in the Thermaltake P3. Completely open air. It is my test system and the theme is going to be black and white. That much I know. So yeah, I'm gonna keep asking until I get a suggestion because I have no idea what I'm calling it, or I'm going to end up making up something. So we'll digress from that a little bit. EK has made another interesting specialty part. This time it is a bracket that allows you to mount a flat reservoir to your radiator. Now this one is fairly interesting because depending on how your rads are set up, this will either become the front facing part of your case or the side facing. And these flat rads actually do look really good. So I can see them being actually fairly useful. That being said, it's such a specific feature that can only really be used in so many places. That being said, EK did make a smart decision to put it in the center, and that is because the fans are pretty much not effective at the exact center of the hub. But, and this is kind of just a little bit of engineering here, they actually probably should have moved it towards the front of the fan where the edge of the blades are, because at higher RPMs, those are the parts of the blade that are actually going to lose the most effectiveness, as crazy as that sounds. But it's interesting. I can't see myself using it, but I'm sure there's somebody who will actually need this for a build for some specific reason. Epic Games. Oh my God, Epic Games has had a week. First, they showed off Unreal Engine 5 running on the PlayStation 5 hardware, and it was amazing looking. I'm a developer. I know the technical stuff that they're talking about, and I'm just like, oh no, you didn't. So the triangulation thing that they talked about, where like they can add like so many polygons and triangles into the mesh without having to do textures or UV mapping, amazing. Like that will make a huge difference. It will take a lot of time, but it will make a huge difference on how things are created. Most of the time in a video game, you get a plane and then that gets your texture, and then they use something called a UV map to make it look 3D. If for a brick wall, that would be a pretty basic thing you would do. If you actually modeled every brick and it doesn't have an impact on the engine all that much, that's nuts. That is something Unreal could not do, because I tried it and I could not do it without crashing the engine or causing problems with shading, and everything they said sounds like that it avoids that problem because it doesn't even have to be baked or anything. It's insane. It is just insane. They also rose the amount of money you have to earn before you start paying royalties. Each game you make has to make $1 million before you start paying any royalties whatsoever to Unreal Engine. And as an indie developer, I know that that figure is far-fetched at best. Like, making $1 million on a given game is not easy. And so it's really only gonna affect bigger developers, and it's a 5% royalty still. So it's not like they rose the royalty fee. It's actually very, very doable, and it's actually very, very good if you're a small-time developer like we are. And yeah, all around good news there. But just a little fun fact to throw on there, Epic servers have been down consistently since GTA 5 went free on the Epic Game Store. That's right, they released a free game that actually put so much traffic through their servers that it caused problems. They actually did send an email out at the beginning of the month saying you need to enable two-factor authentication because they were trying to avoid people spamming the system and getting 1,000 copies of GTA 5. We knew something was coming, I just didn't expect that. That being said, like, it's kind of awesome that they gave that game away. And I hope that they did as much as they could to make sure everybody who was trying to get the game actually got the game. That's gonna wrap it up for us today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, you can leave a like, comment, subscribe. Again, let me know what I should be calling my second system. Again, the theme is white and black. It's an open air system, and it will have a liquid cooling loop, but that loop won't always be in effect. So exciting stuff happening with that, but time, you know, time, money, everything. So let me know what I should call that system. And yeah, have a wonderful day, guys. Wolfie out.